Not really huge, they would do transfer that,
I'm pretty sure that's not the case here.
Transfer that last column right here.
It's got
Transfer that. Yeah, so we pull $5,000 out of there. We should be here. I'm stuck here, you're stuck here. You got $500. It's in the, that operating system. Oh, they got toilet repairs and maintenance too. Did you see it?
Is this basically what they were leasing once in a while last year? This park, yeah.
There you go.
Well, it's close enough we can do the pledge and call the meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we call the December 11, 2018 City Council meeting to order. All council members present except Mr. Henke. Our substitute for Joe,
Eric Hollinger.
Eric is the city engineer. Scott, our city attorney, and Administrator Olson. Any citizens' comments? Yes, we're all citizens here, so anybody that has a comment can make it. Except like everyone's being rather quiet. Any additions or corrections to the agenda? Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda as printed?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Consent agenda. Is there anything that should be removed from the consent agenda, or do we have a motion to accept that as printed?
So moved.
Second.
Yes, Fred jumped in and caught it second that time. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Wonderful. So we can move on to presentations, public hearings, recognitions, etc. And we do have a presentation here, since this is Mr. Barsness's final meeting here up in the podium. And I'm sure he's gonna need a clock to keep it moving along, so.
Is there an alarm on it so I can wake me up from my naps?
I believe there is. Yes, there is, right there. You'll have plenty of time to check it out, and thank you very much,
Thank
Fred.
you.
How many years have you been up here now?
12 years.
12 years, okay, I had totally forgotten.
Yeah.
Well, you've done a great job for us. Hasn't always been smooth plain sailing, but it's worked.
And I'm told that that's right at least twice a day.
Well, at least that, I would say.
Thanks. Okay, now, remember, when the hand gets down at 7:30, we're done.
Maybe you, but I don't think the rest of us can say that.
So, Mayor, there's a letter from Councilman Hinkie that he wanted me to read, so this is probably a good time to
Go ahead.
Councilman Hinkie is in Arizona, was unable to attend tonight, but he has a card for Fred. He asked me to read it tonight. Fred, it has been an interesting 4 years working with you on the Kenyon City Council, sometimes arguing and sometimes agreeing not to agree. Always have and always will have great respect for you. For your future plans, I want health and happiness for you and your friends and fellow councilmen. Doug Hinkie.
Thank you.
And the card says, just to let you know how much you're appreciated, many thanks. So, anyway. And I will say too, it's been great working with you. I miss you on the council.
I was going to save that for the end, but I'll say the same for it. Great 12 years, so I wish you all the best.
Well, I think when we get to the end of the meeting, we'll probably come back around
All
again.
right, good.
This, since we did have a presentation, it fit into that part of the meeting. So, now we can move on to engineering. And first item is an update on the Centennial Drive paving.
Sure. Yeah, so I believe where you guys had left this off last meeting that Joe was here for, Rochester Sand and Gravel was just finishing up with the final lift of pavement, and they just had a little bit of miscellaneous type site grading, just a little bit of finish up work. So shortly after that meeting, they went out and finished up with the project. So to date, I've gone through the final quantities for that project, and that's what we have here in front of you here today is the final pay estimate for the project.
All the erosion control and
Erosion
such is in
control.
place now.
Yeah, the erosion control. The last bit of work that they did was that final erosion control seeding. There was a little bit of topsoil that they had to bring in, but basically all the quantities that they've installed to date have gone through those with the contractor. They've reviewed this, and that's the pay estimate that you have here in front of you. So that one was totaling $120,000, $120,047.50, which is approximately $900 below the amount that they bid on the project. So it's good that they're able to stay within budget on it
And within the necessary time constraints.
Yep.
It worked out. It was touch and go for a few days, but it worked out well.
Yeah, no, it's just like any contractor late in the year, they're trying to finish up with a lot of different projects, so just trying to keep it on top of their list, but they got it done, so that was good.
So we have the pay request here. Do we have a motion to approve that? So,
Second.
all in favor? Aye. Motion passed. Pay request is approved. And update on Red Wing Avenue project.
Sure. So I believe that this one was from a couple of meetings back. You guys had approved us to move forward with putting together the topographic survey and doing some geotechnical soil borings in preparation for that project. So that work is currently in process on the geotechnical side. We've got Braun Intertech, they're from out of Rochester, that's helping out with that. They've done the soil borings, the field work portion of it. I'm still waiting on a geotechnical report from them.
Now they're doing the worm work inside the lab.
Yeah, no, that's all that's remaining here. So I did get a chance to look at the preliminary soil borings, and I didn't see anything that was of huge concern, at least at this point. So that was good news. Moving forward, we've got our survey scheduled for, well, at least to begin about the beginning of January is when we'd be out there starting up with that work. So that'd be about a week and a half of field work, and then we just have to draw up all the line that comes along with that. So at this point, we're expecting to have all this preliminary work that we've been discussing over the past year pretty much wrapped up and probably ready for you guys to take a look at and maybe consider moving forward with the feasibility report, but that would be off into February.
Right. That's basically the next big hurdle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's all I had on the Red Wing Avenue project.
And then on the 2nd Street sanitary sewer.
Sure. Yeah, so that was the last meeting. You guys had approved us to move forward with the final design on that. So I've kind of started on a little bit of the design. But we've got some work that we got to get done first. First of which would be a little bit of topographic survey that we need to actually draw up the plans for it. So we're going to do that work at the same time that we do Red Wing Avenue, so beginning of January. Once I have that, then I can move forward with putting together the plans and the specifications for it. One of the other items that's currently up in the air, up for discussion, is a permit that we need from MnDOT in order to excavate within the road. So started the conversation with them, had some discussions on how we're going to handle traffic control. That's a continuing discussion, and we'll be talking more over the next month or two before the project is completed.
That is a tricky intersection there with two major highways.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yep. So we'll have to coordinate what's the best way to move traffic around that work site, and definitely have to do whatever MnDOT is comfortable with. But we've got some ideas with for how we want to do it, or how we feel it would be best done to get some good prices and get the project done quickly. So
A little bit ironic that we're considering a project on Red Wing Avenue right now, and then another project out here, because the traffic diversion on the last rebuild out here on 2nd Street is part of what caused Red Wing Avenue to deteriorate to the point it is, because all the traffic being diverted down there.
sure. Yeah.
A lot of heavy trucks going down that street that.
Yeah, and fortunately with this project, since the excavations are somewhat limited, we're not digging up the entire length of the street or anything like that. So once they do open up the road, I would expect individual portions of work to go fairly quickly, and that would be the goal in setting forth the schedule for the contract.
The majority of the work out here doesn't involve opening up the road.
Yeah, most of it is the sanitary sewer lining, but we're also talking about replacing 2 manhole structures. Those are going to be fairly wide excavations, and then also replacing a couple sanitary service lines that'll be all the way to the right of way. So the discussion with MnDOT is really going to be whether they're comfortable with closing the entire road down for a short period of time, or if they want the project to stay under traffic during construction. If you're constructing under traffic, there's going to be some extra costs that come along with that, and the project will take a little bit longer. This is my opinion. So that'll be the discussion with MnDOT and what they're comfortable in allowing for that. So, yeah.
Okay, well, it proceeds. So next we move on to legal, and the only item there is Jeff and Jeannie Matson property request to combine two lots that they already own. And there doesn't appear to be any kind of a problem here. It's a pretty straightforward thing that we do quite often.
We put them together and we take them apart.
We do both at times.
That is true.
This time we're putting two together. So we have a motion to approve resolution 2018-20, approval of lot combination for Jeff and Jeannie Matson.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. And then we would move on to old business. The big dog on the agenda. Resolution 2018-22, resolution adopting the 2019 budget and establishing the tax levy for payable 2019.
So, the final budget summary was included in your packet. There was no comments received before or at the truth and taxation meeting. Again, the final budget shows a levy increase of 6.5% for 2019. And the final budget and levy must be submitted to Goodhue County before the end of the year. So that's what I have.
Well, I think we're all of us up here are quite familiar with it. We've been through it several times. We have a motion to approve resolution 2018-22.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Update on sale of 1990 John Deere 4455 tractor and spreader trailer and backblade.
So the auction was on Saturday. The tractor sold at a record amount for $90,500. The minor tank brought good money at $7,000. And the backblade was a little low, but it brought $1,300. And then some miscellaneous insulation we had left over. That sold for $9.25. So I think you guys all got a sheet.
Right.
So we got $94,000 and change from the sale.
Total of $94,738.75 back into the city coffers
I think a lot of that,
temporarily.
we thank Wayne and the boys, they did a fantastic job cleaning that tractor, and the sale kind of showed that you guys did a good job.
I was wondering now, was it that the city was so wise in the tractor that they bought, or in hiring the people that maintained it so well? Or maybe a little of each.
A little of each. It was a nice tractor. Yeah.
And it didn't get rode hard and put up wet.
No, I mean, in 1900 and before.
Worked lightly and taken good care of.
Yeah. So that brings us up to,
And that brings us up to, yes, possible purchase of a Bobcat E595 skid loader and some attachments.
so with this whole process started this spring, summer. We were talking about the needs of the public works. The tractor was used mainly for hauling biosolids in the fall. And earlier this year, we agreed to hire out, contract the hauling out. We would sell the tractor and sell the back blade, because the back blade was used for the grading of the alleyways, and that really didn't quite do the good of a job. So this summer, we rented a skid loader and test rolled some attachments, and it seemed to do a lot nicer job for us. So hence, sell the tractor and acquire a skid loader that benefit us more for doing alleyways and then doing work at the parks and everywhere else. So, between me and the guys, our experience was we preferred Bobcat, and so that's what we pursued. The sheet in front of you is the estimate for the Bobcat, and then in the following sheet would be the 4 attachments that we'd also like to purchase at the same time. The sheet that was in your pamphlet, there was like, I don't know, 13 attachments or something on there. That was just a sheet so we knew what the prices were. The salesman just put a whole bunch on there. We just want to get the brush cat, the land plane, the tilt edge, and the sail conditioner.
At least at this point.
That's, the sail conditioner is the grinder for the alleyways. The brush catch is the bush hog. You could use that on the interceptor line, the parks, down by the river, by the sewer plant, and by the lagoon.
The conditioner seemed to work really well in the alleys,
Yeah,
really did.
so if we could do that first and then
Yeah.
go behind it with the land plane, smooth things out. And then the tilt catch just allows us to put an angle on the land plane to build a crown onto the alleyways.
So basically, that will almost do the job that used to be done with a motor grader,
Yeah,
but be more maneuverable and fit into smaller areas.
and a whole lot, and more versatile too for other projects, where the payload is just way too big. So this would be a great benefit for us.
I'm thinking way back when we had that Austin Western motor grader, and it kind of did the job, but it was more than a little bit clumsy and old-fashioned.
Is this gonna be solely owned by the Public Works, or is the utilities gonna go in with this?
Solely owned by Public Works.
So you have a updated quote from Bobcat. This is based on state contract pricing. So, so we're asking for, I guess, kind of approval to move ahead with the purchase of the Bobcat. And then the remainder of the sale proceeds would be put in capital for street or public works.
Right.
There may be some other things next year we'll talk about that we could, use that. I mean, in some ways, it'd be nice to show that we were able to use the money from that sale proceeds to do, visible public improvements or street repavings or whatever the case might be. So, but this would be something that they would like to get ordered here sooner than later.
Yes.
I think also too, the price has gone up, so if we don't act on this now, we're looking at, was it
It's a few $1,000s more. This,
$2,000 more, so,
yeah, this price is good till the end of the month.
yeah. So it's one of those deals where it's never gonna go down.
So it's the 49 plus the 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you like a motion, I'll make a motion that we have Public Works go ahead and purchase the Bobcat and attachments.
Jump on that motion. Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. You better do a real good job now. Don't want any more complaints about the condition of the alleys.
It'll be about 4 weeks out to receive it, they said.
Yeah, it'll be several months before we can
Before, for the others.
really get anything done with it. But wonderful. So item C under old business, possible increased sewer rates.
So we talked during the budget meeting about the need to look at some type of increase to the basically, the sewer fund without an increase is gonna show a loss of $42,000. So in order to show net income to sewer rates, we project need to be increased by 12.5% in 2018. You do have the same information in the packet about showing the current balance as of the end of the year, or with a projected balance without an increase, and then what the new rates would generate. So at a minimum, 12.5% is what we would, I mean, it's pretty straightforward what we need to show as far as an increase in revenue for that fund. And some of this has come from, we've had to shift the debt repayment, came from the general levy over a period of time. It's been shifted back to the sewer fund for the 2012 sewer plant project. So we kind of knew some of this was going to happen, but there's inflation built in there and other things in the fund without breaking it down line by line that maybe we push, which would be normally a lot smaller increase, but anyway, so that's our recommendation on that. So,
And that will be basically a 1 year stop the bleeding and
well, it should be. I mean, hopefully next year we're not going to be looking at this.
consider it again
Yeah,
at the next
I
budget
can't
cycle.
guarantee anything, but if you look at the rates of that fund, we've had, this would be the second increase, but in 2 years, or approximately 2 years, but before that we hadn't had one for 6 years, at least 6 years.
I would like to see it go up to 15% anyway. It's nice to be able to put $10 in the capital.
It'd be nice to have more than a $10 projected balance at the end of the year.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand that.
Well, are you putting that in the form of a motion?
I will move that we increase the sewer rates by 15%.
Gentlemen,
Could avoid problems next year. I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now, everybody who wants to complain and call the outgoing councilman.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it works that way.
Thanks, Mike.
Well, I'm not gonna have a chance to do this to you very much for a while now, so to get my licks in while I can. Okay, then we can move on to new business, resolution 2018-23, resolution committing capital fund balances. More GASB mandated,
Yeah, stuff.
Now, as I was looking at this, I was wondering why the fire department needs to transfer over to the capital fund, but not the police department. Or does the police department never have anything to transfer over?
so now you're
Well,
skipping ahead.
That's kind of a subjective question.
That's right.
No, I mean, the fire department is, see, most of the departments have, if they have balances at the end of the year, we don't transfer them into capital.
Okay.
But the fire department, because of, say, the fire hall, and the debt that we pay off there, partially, we transfer, the last couple of years, I started asking to transfer, the council to approve the transfer of the balance
Okay.
into capital, but we don't do that for other funds generally. So,
It just goes back into the general fund, whatever.
yeah, well, it goes
not
into
spent.
it goes into budget, the balance, the
Yeah.
reserve, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. An accrual accounting system.
Yeah.
So, but otherwise, if you want it to show up in a certain area, then there has to be official approval to move it into one fund or into another. So that's what we're asking for with the second.
Okay.
Yeah, we're actually dealing with two separate
Exactly.
issues here.
Yeah.
Resolution 2018-23, that's committing this money will be going for these purposes.
Yeah. Right.
And we need a motion and a second and a vote to approve that. And I will move that we approve Resolution 2018-23. We have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Now, we move on to approving the transfer of fire department year-end remaining funds to the capital fund. Apparently, the chief and all the other people did such a good job that they've got some money left to put back
That's always a good thing.
away for next year.
That's,
I'll make that a motion.
new trucks in the future too, you know, that capital fund, that's all for
We got a
future.
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And that passes. Now we have 2019 tobacco license renewals. That would be the Kenyon Market, River Country Co-op, also known as Super America, although a lot of people still call it Marathon, and the Kenyon Municipal Liquor Store. A motion to approve renewing those tobacco licenses.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that passes. Oops. Resolution 2018-21 designating annual polling place. This is a rather silly but state mandated thing that we have to every year do this all over again. And we will be designating City Hall as the official polling place, even though there probably won't be any elections this year. And I'd make a motion that we approve Resolution 2018-21. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think we ought to just send them a note saying ditto.
I don't think they would see the humor in that, Rick. Just don't think so.
Yeah.
And now we have a 3-year lease for 10 acres of cropland adjacent to the wastewater treatment plant. I'm surprised that we got so many
Yeah, we got
bids on it
4
this year.
quotes. I was surprised. The highest quote came from Craig Hansen for $230 an acre. And then the city received 3 other quotes, which you have in the memo. So anyway, I guess I'd recommend that you authorize that or approve that quote, or Scott, however you would.
Yeah, it's just authorize the entering of a lease at that quarter amount.
Can I ask who leased it in the past?
Earl Frederickson leased, since I've been here, the last 2 3-year leases. In the past, there's been other folks that have leased it.
Okay.
So do we have a motion to approve the lease of that 10 acres of cropland to Craig Hansen for $230 an acre?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Closure of city offices and library on Monday, December 24th.
So normally this, depending on when Christmas Eve is, the city offices close either at noon or sometimes all day on Christmas Eve. So anyway, I'm just asking to get approval from the council for one or the other. Christmas Eve is on, December 24th is on a Monday, so then we'd be closed on all or part of Monday and then Tuesday.
And to me, it would seem to make little sense to have people come back to work for a
Half a day.
short half day.
Yeah, and it's gonna be great.
So a 4-day weekend is in order.
Well, yeah.
Saturdays,
Yeah.
Sundays, Mondays, yeah.
Oh, gee.
Turn the thermostat down when you leave.
It automatically does.
So does that mean you're making a motion to approve this?
I'm moving.
And I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, emergency mass notification software program.
So, the department heads and I have been looking at some different options for emergency notification software. One of the programs I think Goodhue County uses is Code Red, and there's several other platforms. I'm just bringing this up now for information. This type, and you do have a copy of some information I got from one of the companies, from AlertFind. And basically this is the type of software that's used for a variety of notifications from, in a city's case, it can be for, utility work, whether it's a, several month project or a sewer line break where a street has to be, water line break where a street has to be diverted. It can be used for notification of upcoming events. Basically, there's probably a lot more uses than I can think of at this point as time goes on. More and more things I think I can see in the future will be added to this. So the software basically is used where we would send out a notice or a piece of information, scan something in whatever file, and it's sent to people either as a text or as a email. Some of these things will do actual calling. I don't think we're going to be looking at something like that. Like the school, I think, has that set up where they call people. They've had that for quite a while. Pine Island, when we lived there, had the same kind of thing. Rochester subsequently had it. So basically, our use of this would be more for text and emails. So people would sign up, we publicize it in the usual platforms that we use, the website, the cable access channel, the city newsletter, etc. And then we would send out notifications. This program, this AlertFind, can actually be used with GeoGIS, where you can actually just draw a circle in an area and it'll notify anybody who's signed up, whose address is within that area, which is nice. Some of the other ones we looked at didn't have that. One of them was only by zip, which that wouldn't work for us, not even close. So anyway, this system, type of system, we want to look at this more and maybe some other options, but their cost, they've talked to me about, would be, it's based on the number of subscriptions. There's people that sign up, and this company, I recall, it's just based on the number of persons or households that sign up. It's not based on whether they have 3 numbers, 2 emails or whatever. So that's one thing I like about it. But the threshold we'd probably be in would be somewhere between $4,000 and $6,000 a year. So,
And how many people is that signing up? So
so
if you only have 2
1,000,
people.
or no, that's 500.
Okay.
500 person wise. I'm not talking 1,000 lines, because some of these were just based on straight. You have, 3 cell phone numbers and 1 email, so there's 4 lines. This one is just based on number of persons. But we
So
figure
family of 5 would be
4 to
people.
500 people maybe within a year or 2, if we really do a good job of trying to get the word out. And if it's more, then it may be closer to 6,000. But AlertFind and one other company, they'll have different pricing platforms for government and nonprofits, so they said they'd work with us on, like say 400 to 700 range might be in there, numbers of people that sign up. So if we get an actual proposal, we'll have that nailed down. When we get there, hopefully we'll get some better numbers out of them. I'm hoping from a quote. So, but this is just kind of a ballpark thing right now. The 4,000 to 6,000, just so you have some.
And this is just strictly a public service, or would we actually have some charge that you sign up 5 people?
No,
and
as a
it's gonna
public, we
cost-
do it as a public service.
Okay.
And KMU would be another one, like power outages. I think KMU would probably get almost more use out of this than the city in some ways. So we probably want to split the cost somewhat between the two. But, you know, again, that would be determined once we get further down the pike here. But I just wanted the council to be aware that we're looking at this. So it'll probably come back sometime, maybe towards spring, to see how things shake out.
Okay, well, as I said, as you give us more information, we can consider it further. And now, it's the last item on the agenda, and Chief Scholander is here to help us consider this, a revised domestic abuse response policy. Several pages in here of really dense verbiage.
Yes, sorry for my appearance, by the way. I had to go do something with a citizen today that required more of a casual look. So every year I bring you the new policies from the Pulse Board, the mandated ones we have to have. This one I brought forward a little bit early because they've made a revision, but the only real change to it is they've added the dissemination of explicit images by one party of another party. So it's basically the same policy we've had as far as for how we respond to domestic abuse, what qualifies as domestic abuse. But given the current climate and technology, one of the things that we're seeing across the board is now as a get back method to hurt somebody's feelings or reputation, people are sending inappropriate pictures of someone once they've been scorned, we'll say. So the policy's got that reflection in there. So I just brought this one for you now, and I'll bring the rest next year. I don't think there'll be anything changing with this.
So the actual change here is on the
Next,
second page that.
Another F, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, down towards the bottom.
I searched through the whole thing, and that was the only place I found any mention of it.
Yeah, that was it. But I just wanted to bring that one forward to you now, because it's the first one I've got. I don't think there's any other big changes coming this next year with the Pulse Board policies, but I bring them every year to make sure that we're all up to speed with all the improved. Any other questions? Scott, did you have anything from that?
No, I mean, that's pretty straightforward. So I would recommend adopting it.
Seems like it's just putting a little bit more on your plate.
Yeah, it's okay, yeah.
It's,
We know some of the attorneys will keep us plenty busy, that's for sure. Thank you.
attorneys keep everybody busy.
Yeah, that'd be okay. That's what I was saying.
So, I guess I would move that we approve adopting this latest revision, and not that we have a great deal of choice in the matter, but we have to officially adopt it.
Then I will officially second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Other business, schedule of upcoming meetings. We have the AMU meeting on Wednesday, December 19th at 6 p.m. and our next regular city council meeting on Tuesday, January 8th at 7 p.m. And get on to council and staff general comments. And switch it around and start with Scott.
Just happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody, Happy New Year, and good luck to you, Fred.
Thank you.
And I'll see you around. It's been a good 12 years. Thanks.
Derek?
I guess I don't have anything else, so thank you.
Thank you for being here to do what you needed to do and giving hard-working Joe a chance to do something else.
Fred, I wanted to thank you, and I've really enjoyed being on the city council. It's been interesting, challenging, so on and so forth.
Thank you, Richard.
Well, I can echo a lot of what he said, and yes, it's been It's been an experience working together. Not always a smooth one, but a fruitful one. Thanks again, and maybe now you can start selling more vehicles to the city.
Yeah, just slipped that in there, didn't you? Thanks, Mike.
And do you have anything else to say?
Well, these 12 years have gone by fast. And I guess Scott and Richard, we were together back then. We had a lot of issues back then. We covered a lot of ground. We did a lot of, we had to do a lot of,
Wrangling.
right. And I want to thank Scott for all the legal advice. You make things real easy. We knew that you were on our backs, you know, taking care of us. We goof up. Like I said, right now with Scott and Mark and the staff, I mean, things are going smoothly. We have got some fantastic staff of all the departments. And I feel comfortable that I think they've done a good job, and I think we've done pretty good. I like the fact that when we address an issue, no Band-Aids. You're gonna fix it. You do it right.
Yeah. I think that's been a high point of this council.
Yeah, I really, I think been a good job, been a good experience. I want to thank Dan for accepting the position here of councilman. I mean, the nice thing about it, he can just step right in and the ball's rolling with your experience here. So I think the council's going to gain by it, and the citizens of Kenyon are going to gain. So thank you, Dan.
Definitely echo that. I was sitting here waiting for Fred to get done so I could step back to say, wait a minute, folks, I forgot to mention that we've got our new shining star here to fill in for Fred as he leaves. Fred, remember to do it, so.
Plus this was Dan's seat at the, when they had the
Yes, yep.
county meeting, so this was,
I didn't embarrass you, did I?
he's used to this chair, so.
Well, I want to thank Fred for all his years of service, and we're going to miss your expertise and guidance. Fred was the one that talked to me about getting on the council when there was an opening. I think I thank you for that. I'm still learning.
You're still here, John. Thank you.
Still learning,
Thank you.
but congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep, I want to echo that again, Fred. Thank you for making my job a lot easier, more fun. I also want to pass on best regards from Aaron Reeves, who I believe was administrator when you started.
Yep, for
So,
months and months, wasn't it?
Linda, all the best in the future. And then, just real quickly, I just wanted to acknowledge everybody, the volunteers and the attendees that were involved in the Christmas in Kenyon Saturday. I think we had a very good turnout and a good event. My wife and I were here for probably 4 hours on Saturday, and I was really glad to see there was a lot of people in the downtown in the morning, and I think it was a good turnout. I also want to especially thank Chief Scholander and Becky, his wife, and everybody else that was involved in the Garage of Goodness, Amy, Alex, and the department for really putting, again, together some real good opportunities for those folks that maybe, need help, which they always put a great emphasis on anyway. So I just want to thank you, because that, again, was a great event. I guess almost more like a stampede there when it first started. So it was excellent. It was great seeing all those people in there. And so I just want to thank you again, Chief. That was awesome. They put a ton of time in on that, so I can't tell you how much I see them coming and going, bringing stuff, and just and all the people that donated in the community. It's just really nice to see that, everything come together for that, so.
Thank you.
Well, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We'll do your last second, Fred.
You don't really hear that gavel. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And just for you, Fred, the last time, meeting adjourned.